So discretionary income is key driver for all of us. And so what we feel like is the setup is all the consumer discretionary income metrics are all heading down, and I would say that expansion is happening.
The 28th ICR conference is underway in Orlando, Florida, with more than 3,000 attendees and 250 industry leaders. One of them is Barry McGowan. He is the CEO of Fogo. It is a Brazilian restaurant with 118 locations globally. Barry, welcome.
Thank you, Ashley. So glad to be here.
So what is Fogo de Chão?
Fogo de Chão is a renowned restaurant from Brazil. We're 46 years old, and I'll just say this: we focus on the culinary art form of churrasco. So we're distinctive, different, and very experiential, and we're growing in the U.S. and every major capital city of the world. So really thrilled to be at the conference this year.
So someone who is not familiar with that art form, can you explain what it is for us?
Sure. It's very traditional, centuries-old art form of really butchery, slow roasting, and really simply seasoning food. And I would say the unique thing, that's the culinary piece, how you do it. But what's really great is it's protein-led, so protein-centric, nutrient-dense vegetables, and about the combination of the just dining and curating based off what you like. So it's not about a meal on a plate. It's about trying and experiencing all you would like to experience, and because everybody has different flavors, taste profiles. So it's really immediate, very healthy and good for you, and in the moment. So regardless of your diet tribe, you really enjoy the experience. So it's from families to couples to large groups. It's just a wonderful way to dine. And if you dine in Brazil or Sao Paulo, Rio, or in Brasilia, it's the same experience you get in New York, in World Trade Center we just opened. We just opened a restaurant here in Vineland, in Orlando. We just opened in Santiago, Chile last night. So it's the same experience around the world, and it's just, I would say, very enjoyable way to dine.
With the growth and the rate that you're scaling with, you say that the customer experience is the same in every location and it's consistent. How do you maintain consistency with the growth that you're seeing?
Sure. So it starts first with people pipeline. So we like to say at Fogo de Chão, we focus on scaling culture first. So really having visibility and readiness for our human capital pipeline, making sure they're ready, prepared to take on more. When that's ready, we find sites. So right now we have 3 years visibility to our talent globally. And we have 2 years of site pipeline. So we're a year ahead of what we need so that we're very confident if we're going to open a restaurant, we have the talent to do it. That scales the culture, brings the authenticity through, and gets the culinary art form right up front to the consumer to give them the experience they desire and all the value that they expect and experience.
Can you take me through a night at Fogo de Chão? What can a customer expect? What is the experience like?
Well, what's great is depends on the occasion. Like we have a bar Fogo experience. We have all day happy hour where you can sit and have grilled cheese. Amali got the honey at the bar. We have a $10 picanha burger because we butcher all day that we can make you a great burger. And all of our South American wine is half price. We just do that because we want you to experience something new than just, let's say, California wine or European. We're from South America, so we really celebrate those things. Our house caipirinha is decadent, distinctive, and very craveable. So that's one experience, and going to the full experience really starts and begins with the market table. Nutrient-dense food, superfoods from prickly pear to papaya to prosciutto to different cuts of cheese, everything that just complements your dietary form, but also gives you a way to customize and really go back frequently with so much more to enjoy. And then the dining experience begins with select cuts of meat. So we begin with a variety of 16 different cuts that you get to choose. Some people just have 2 or 3 cuts they like. Some people like to sample the full menu. Some people come in and just say, I'll have lamb today. But what we really love is in our menu, you can also indulge and have a Wagyu steak to share with your friends. So a tableside, grilled to perfection, carved tableside, put on a salt balk and shared for the table. So those experiences we do organically, and one of our new innovations is our butter-bathed lobster tail. So surf and turf available. We also do something distinctive with seafood. We have whole branzino that we blister. So we don't grill, we blister the seafood, which is really a beautiful way to dine. Really crisps the fish, it's fresh, it's whole, very light in flavor, and complements our churrasco beautifully. Now on the meat side, the way we cook it, slow roasting with just salt creates a salty bark. So I go back to it's distinctive, very craveable, and regardless of your diet tribe, we have something for you.
You're making me very, very hungry, and you're describing the food beautifully. And something you touched on earlier is the meals really are protein centric, and we have seen an explosion in protein even at the conference. That is one of the main themes: is protein, protein, protein. Have you seen any growth since that protein craze has started in Fogo de Chão?
Well, it's great. You know, what we love is to say the trends are catching up with Fogo de Chão. We're 46 years old, but I'd say the trend started probably 8, 9 years ago. Really, the younger generation, Gen Z and Gen X, we're already moving to protein. We see in our competitors when they run LTOs with beef, their sales go up. So we knew that. But what we love is today, and even you've seen the new food pyramid, correct? So the realization that protein is vital to your human genome across the board. Well, that pyramid that was just released, that's the Fogo food pyramid. So we're going to label it that because you look at it's protein first, then all the nutrient-dense leafy greens, the super greens, and the fruits, all that's what you serve at Fogo de Chão. So we like to say at Fogo de Chão, you know, if you care about your diet, you care about longevity and health, we've always served whole food and good for you food. It's just how you decide to dine and your occasion that we can accommodate your experience. So we're really excited. So protein, we're excited that people are discovering that this is paramount, and a lot of people bring up GLP-1. Again, the need for protein is high. So I think there's a lot of good things happening at one time that I believe we're going to continue to benefit from.
What is your hope for Fogo de Chão in 2026 in terms of growth, and how have you grown so far since you've been at the helm?
Sure. So for the last 13 years, we've kept a pretty steady growth algorithm of about 12 to 15% growth year over year. Pretty steady, growing organically with free cash flow, that's unit count and revenue. And I'd say this earnings doing the same. And so last year we finished opening 16 restaurants, which is a record year for us, including international. So we opened 12 in the US, 1 in Brazil, and 3 under international franchise. This year we'll do 16 to 18, including international, and we see steady state continued growth, traffic growth, and margin growth and expansion as we continue to focus on scaling our business very incrementally. So our story isn't anything more than just building on year over year, steady state growth. I would say the last 5 years, COVID period, we doubled our revenue, nearly doubled our EBITDA. This period of time, these 5 years through 29 and 30, we'll double our revenue and double our EBITDA again. So we feel very good about how we're growing, primarily because we have a human capital pipeline that's prepared to do it, and scaling our culture is first, and then the site pipeline we feel very good about, you know, how we're doing. The new restaurants are opening really strong, opening stronger than our year 3 underwrite for those restaurants. So all the indicators are really strong for our brand. I'll just say this, in Brazil, our brand awareness is 89%. In the US, it's about 42%. So as we scale with only 88 restaurants, we're coast to coast, our awareness keeps growing. And so one percentage of awareness is about 7 million of revenue to us. 1/10 of frequency is about 50 million. So as we build awareness, trial builds, and so does frequency. So all of our innovation, how we develop our sites and where we develop them, is all about building a brand globally.
And you mentioned all of that growth in the pandemic or post-pandemic, if you will. Do you think consumers had a need to get back into restaurants and in-person experiences with food?
Absolutely. I think, you know, what we learned during COVID is when we were denied the ability to socialize, the biggest pent-up demand was just going out to eat with friends, to being with friends, to being socially engaged. So terrible period of time, but I think what I loved, it was awakening for society, knowing that restaurants play a really crucial role. The glue to a community is just that socialization. Going out to dine is not going to go away. Consumers are just expecting more value, more quality, more experience, and that's where Fogo de Chão is really leaning into to make sure we stay on trend with the consumers. So,
do you think food brings people together?
Absolutely, and I love that question because, look, I can go to Riyadh and have a meal with friends, speak different languages, different cultures. I can go to Dubai, I can do to Sao Paulo, Brazil, to LA or Miami or Kansas City, and do the same thing. And by the way, at this conference, a lot of people are gathering, and we're gathering around food. bunch of strangers united around the consumer sector, but what drives this conference and what do we enjoy most? The team last night, created a great culinary experience on the lawn. I'll just give kudos to Manny and the team at STK, did a wonderful job. And then tonight we have Shake Shack and the others, so that tells you everything. Why is that important? Because that's how you get people to show up. If the conference was just sitting in a room and talking to people, I think a lot of people wouldn't show up, but adding the food, the social part, that amplifies the relationship, community, and the idea of what you want to get done.
And speaking of ICR, what is your hope for this conference?
Well, you know what I love is the feedback and the perspective, really getting a tone from people, like-minded people, but also the perspective from buy side, the analyst side, and then industry. So also looking across different cohorts of consumer segments to understand how the consumer's behaving on all front. So discretionary income is key driver for all of us. And so what we feel like is the setup is all the consumer discretionary income metrics are all heading down, and I would say that expansion is happening. I shared this with quite a few people. I paid $1.89 for a gallon of gas in Dallas, Texas at a Costco last week, and it's very meaningful just versus last year. I think it's like $1,500 difference just for my car. So I just know that all that is going to be favorable to the consumer along with some of the tax relief. And I'll just say this, if the trends continue with deflation and wage rate inflation. So everything, I feel optimistic for the consumer. Still, the consumer doesn't feel it, so I still think the consumer, it's going to take time. But I would say even today, through the holidays, we've seen great results. Consumer shopping, they are dining out. They're just being more selective. The price value really matters.
All right. Gary McGowan, CEO of Fogo de Chao, thank you so much for joining us.
Great. Thank you, Ashley. Pleasure to meet you.